Hey guys, the best tradition in college football happened tonight. Country Roads being played. Mountaineer Field, Morgantown, West Virginia. West Virginia defeats Pitt 17-6. I think before the game we had a little pregame show, and I said West Virginia would probably dominate this game, and they did. In fact, kind of dominate this game from start to finish. Pitt did score early, and it was close at halftime. West Virginia came out, took care of business. So I mean, what can you say? I mean, my God, I'm excited as crap. I mean, um, if West Virginia could just get over some of these humps that they've been on and get by some of these games they should have won, we've all been saying we could be a good team, and here we are. We got over a hump tonight. We got back past Pitt. Totally dominated the game. I was really proud of Nico coming in cold, had a slow start, but hey, you know what? For a backup quarterback, I'll take him any day. He controlled the game really well, did a really good job. C.J. Donaldson, that man's a beast, didn't he? I mean, my goodness, who would have thought a tight end converts to running back and probably becomes one of the best running backs in the country? I mean, we have a great offensive line. I'm really proud of our offensive line. We dominated the line of scrimmage tonight. We dominated the line of scrimmage against Penn State. So I kind of figured it was going to happen tonight, which is what I was saying before the game. And here we are. So I'm going to drop the link into the chat. I'm the only one here. Everyone is at the game. Now, everyone has the link that's at the game, and hopefully they can come in and join us. But, just in case they can't, hey, any of you guys who want to join us and come in here, come on in. All right, so let's run this down. Game leaders of the game. Pitt's Jerkovic went 8 for 20 for 81 yards, 3 interceptions. Yes, including that last one. And, that was just icing on the cake for me. So not a good night for Phil Jerkovic. Nico Marchio, on the other hand, 6 of 9, 60 yards, 1 touchdown. Definitely not earth-shattering. How about this one right here? Last year, this guy kind of tore us up. Rodney Hammond Jr. for Pitt, 14 carries, 49 yards. That was their leading rusher. 14 carries, 49 yards. C.J. Donaldson, 18 carries, 102 yards, and a touchdown. And receivers, Gavin Bartholomew, 2 receptions for 39 yards for Pitt. And Colby Taylor, 3 receptions, 21 yards, and a touchdown for West Virginia. And for the third week in a row, we have a different wide receiver coming out and making plays for us. So I'm excited about that. So, the game started out, like I said, it was a good game in the first half. It was a good game the whole game, but the first half was kind of slow, sluggish, one of them grinded out games and low scoring and things. Second half, West Virginia kind of opened it up a little bit. I was real proud of Nico and his composure to read the eyes of the defensive end when he had a RPO. He was reading the eyes of the defensive end and made some really great plays. He did a good job on the RPOs, I thought, for a backup quarterback, especially someone that's not been in the game that long. So, hey, hats off to West Virginia. I love it, man. I love it. Yeah, I can't say that, can I? Yeah, I can. Eat shit, Pitt, right? Eat shit, Pitt. So anyway, anyone want to join in here with me? I'm still waiting on some people to come in. Maybe everybody went to this game, and unfortunately, I couldn't go. I planned on it. Mark Rogers and I both planned on going, and we weren't able to go at the last minute. But I'm really, really looking forward to the rest of the season. Next week, Texas Tech a little bit down this year. But Neil Brown hasn't beaten Texas Tech ever. So And Barry says that pick was retribution for the pick six. Yeah, yeah, that's right. Hey, you know what? We did we intercept the three? Yeah, we intercepted 3 times, right? Well, there was 3 turnovers. Try to remember. Yeah, we fumbled once. They threw 3 interceptions. Djokovic just had a bad day, and he had a bad day last week too. I don't look for him to be their starter come next week, and if he is a starter, I doubt if he'll start after that game because he couldn't control the game. Pitt was down from the start in this game. But anyway, I am Timmy. Thanks for asking. I am feeling much better. I'm really excited now. I'm really feeling good right now. Anyway, so we're streaming this live on the West Virginia channel right here to Voice of College Football, as well as the Big 12 channel right here to Voice of College Football. Be sure you sub both of those channels up and sub up the main channel of the Voice of College Football. I'm Joey Foster. I'm with you. I'm with you tonight for the post game show, and I think I'm just a little too excited. And I know one thing: there's somebody in the back room right now, and he's fired up too, man. He's excited. What's going on, Nick D?
Hey, let's go Mountaineers! Eat shit, Pitt!
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
That's all I gotta say, baby.
Yeah, and I love it, baby. I love it. Well, so Nick and I were texting each other pretty much the entire game and stuff, and but that was a fun game. I love it anytime you get 3 turnovers against Pitt, beat them 17-6, and did it all by running the ball. I mean, Nico Marchio, and I don't know if you heard me a while ago, 6 of 9 for 60 yards, 1 touchdown. And he came in the second drive, so he played the whole game. Only threw 9 passes. We beat them on the ground. I mean, C.J. Donaldson and Jalen Anderson just took it to Pitt on the ground, right up the gut.
We didn't have to run the football, baby. All we had to do is run it right up the fucking right up the gut. That's all we had to do.
Hey, you're all excited. You're all excited. I know. Yeah, I am fired up about it. It's been a long time since West Virginia had a ground game that could actually control the game. I mean, we've had ground games, obviously. We had Rochelle Shell. He was a good running back. But we had Will Greer as well, and Clint Trickett back in those days. And we had a good quarterback play. This year, we've got young quarterbacks. They're good quarterbacks, don't get me wrong, but they're young. But that running game of West Virginia and those offensive linemen for West Virginia, throwing them blocks, springing them guys open like that right up the middle, man, I couldn't ask for a better day.
Hey, man, look, I got nervous when Garrett Green came out, as any Mountaineer should have been. But see, we had the game plan, and what did I tell you? I was worried that Neil Brown would run away from the game plan because Garrett Green got injured. But he continued to pound the rock. Now, I would like to see him have more shots with Nico, but nevertheless, he continued to pound the rock. And that's what we needed to win the game. That's all. That's all we needed. We didn't have to do fancy shit. We didn't have to do something stupid. All we had to do was run the football and be dominant at doing so. And that's what we did, and that's why we're victorious.
That's right. Yeah. I love it. I love a good ground game. I used to love to watch Wisconsin football. Those ground and pound berry ball teams. I used to love to watch those games, because they were always played right there in the trenches, right where it matters, bringing it to your heart. And that's what West Virginia did tonight. They played it in the trenches. They ran the ball right from the middle. I mean, just, you didn't see none of this crazy plays that Neil Brown called a couple games ago against Penn State, where we're trying to run around the ends and we're not going to outrun those Penn State defenders. No, he took it right at the gut, like he should have done in the Penn State game. So I was happy about that.
Hey, So Uncle Lou and Uncle Lou and all his folks, they were talking about. I don't know for the life of me. I don't know why West Virginia's favored. I don't get it. I just don't get it. Well, guess what? If you pay attention to football, you understand why we were favored. And guess what? We showed out on that field, and guess what? We won by 11 points.
Yeah.
So
Hey,
pipe and smoke it.
Hey, here you go. Here you go.
Right now, 60% of the bets are on West Virginia. I am running a poll for people who are watching live. 61% of the people watching also favor West Virginia.
Okay.
The sharps are on West Virginia. Again, the people who pay the bills with these bets are on West Virginia, which means obviously I'm staying with Pitt.
Yeah.
I am going against the public and against the people who supposedly know what they're doing. This is probably my last ride with the Pitt Panthers.
Well, I guess it was his last ride with the Pitt Panthers, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Hey, look, I knew it. As soon as man, are we still the 14th? Wait, hold on. Are we still the 14th team in the Big 12?
Yeah, really.
I have to make sure we're still a 2-win team. So I guess we're not winning a single game this year, huh?
Yeah, that's what the pundits say, right?
Look, I'm still pissed off. I'm still pissed off. This win hasn't done me no favors. I am angry.
Are you ready for Texas Tech?
On the field and beat Texas Tech. I want to beat the living hell out of Texas Tech.
Well, that's something Neil Brown's never done, and it's time. It's time, and we've got the team, obviously, because Texas Tech's not that good this year. And so, we have the team. Listen to the people that were injured tonight in the game. There was a lot of injuries. West Virginia had a few injuries. Pitt had a few injuries. My hats off. Best wishes. Hope you guys, all of you, Pitt players and West Virginia players, can come back strong and play out, and then get hurt again. For Pitt players, get hurt again next year when we play.
Hey, remember when we were supposed to lose by Houston? Remember when we were supposed to lose to Houston?
Yeah, TCU's kind of taking them to the school right now.
36-13. But yeah. West Virginia's the worst team in the Big 12, right?
Yeah. And TCU lost to.
Yeah, that's right.
TCU lost to
Colorado. And now they're beating the hell out of Houston.
Colorado, yeah, Colorado. And
we're the worst team in the Big 12.
And Colorado State, last time I checked, are tied up. Am I right? They still tied? So
Colorado, yeah. No, they're in a dogfight.
Yeah. So, I look, TCU might be a good team. Texas Tech. Texas Tech was actually one of my picks to win the Big 12 this year. I said that Texas would win it, but I like Texas Tech. We got somebody in the back room with us here, somebody in Morgantown, and it looks like you might be inside right now. What do you say, Frank?
Hey, I'm doing great. What a great win, huh?
That was a great win, man. I'm excited about it. So tell me about the atmosphere. Tell me what it was like up there.
Well, I'll tell you, the crowd was fantastic. Never got rattled at all, and no booing. There's a lot of support for Nico, and nobody wants to see a quarterback get hurt. But when Nico came in, I think it gave a boost. I'm sure you guys have talked about that. That first series, the Mountaineers' first series was I don't understand it at all, either the execution or the calls. And so there was there were rumblings in the stadium about that. And then Pitt obviously moved quickly downfield, but then the Mountaineers, stiffened, and they only got 3 points. So, but the support was there all night, and no negative comments whatsoever. Stuck with their Mountaineers, and the fans were rewarded.
I bet you I got 10 text messages when Garrett Green went down. I got 10 text messages from people saying, that game's over. And what got me was before the season started, those same 10 people were telling me, hey, Nico needs to start. It shouldn't be Garrett Green. He's not tall enough. He can't see over the line. We need to start Nico. And the minute Garrett Green gets hurt and goes out, and Nico has to come in, they text me and say, "Well, I guess we're going to lose this game." What's I can't figure out Mountaineer fans sometimes. Listen, Nico Marchio is 4-star quarterback who was wanted by a lot of universities out there. Could play. He could start pretty much anywhere right now. He's a really good quarterback. So, I didn't sweat it at all when Garrett went down. I did not like it, obviously because Nico doesn't have the experience that Garrett has, and it's a backyard brawl, and it's a different kind of situation. But at the same time, I knew Nico would give us all, and that's what he did. And Nico did a brilliant job. I was saying this earlier, Frank. Nico did a brilliant job on his RPOs of reading that defensive end and what he was doing. If that defensive end crashed that running back, man, he took it and went around the corner, threw a pass to Tyler, at that on a crossing pattern there behind a lot of scrimmage, and Tyler running into the end zone. So he's done a really good job of controlling the game. I think Nico did a good job, especially for his first really true test. Right? I mean, he's been in games, obviously, in mop-up duty, but this was his true test, his first test, and Nico passed it with flying colors. I thought 6 of 9 is all it was for how many yards was it? Let me see what that was, Frank. It was 6 of 9 for 60 yards and a touchdown. So 6 of 9, we didn't have him throw the ball a lot, but we didn't need to. We controlled the line of scrimmage, which is what our offensive line should do, as talented as they are, as many starts as they've had between them. And with the running back set we have, we should control the line of scrimmage and we should run the ball. So, but Nico did what he had to do to control the game. He read the RPO correctly, handed the ball off when he needed to, ran the ball when he needed to, and threw the ball when he needed to. So Nico, I thought, did a pretty good job.
Oh, I agree completely. I was listening to the Tony Caridi postgame show, the fifth quarter, and one of the staff said the passing yards for West Virginia, the lowest, I think, since 2006. Exactly the same score against Syracuse. It was also a win. And so they didn't pass the ball. The big question, and I didn't listen to the Neil Brown show, is the injury to CJ toward the end of the game and how serious that is. But I did hear that he was walking very gingerly after he came off the field. That would be a huge blow if he were lost, because as I said in the pregame show, I think Texas Tech is gettable next week, and for Mountaineers to be on a 3-game winning streak, and again, as you mentioned in the pregame show, the Big 12 is, I wouldn't say reeling, but the expectations are not being met with with K-State going down. I didn't hear that TCU scored. Did they win?
TCU?
Yeah.
Yeah, TCU won. I'm getting some bad feedback. I don't know what it is. But yeah, TCU won. What was the score of the TCU game, Nick?
It was like 36-13.
Yeah. It wasn't that close. TCU was all over Houston. Now, I'm like you, Frank. I think we have a good shot against Texas Tech next week. Texas Tech's not the greatest team out there. Obviously, they're barely. I mean, they could easily be over right now. They could have no wins. Texas Tech could. So, I think next week is going to be a good test for us because it's our first Big 12 game, number one. It's Texas Tech, who we haven't beaten since Neil Brown joined the program. So I'm calling it now. Hey, West Virginia will win next week pretty easily, I think, especially since the game is in Morgantown. I think West Virginia will win that game pretty easily and handily. Now, C.J. Donaldson, he was hobbling on the sidelines, had him walking it off up and down the sidelines. I didn't get a report either on CJ. Hopefully, it's nothing too serious. And the same thing with Garrett Green. Hopefully, nothing too serious that a week won't heal. Give him a few days off and get him in some ice baths and maybe it'll heal up.
Yeah,
I was getting
other
some
thing
ads.
as I listened to the pregame show, we should, I don't want to get hyperbolic, but with the Big 12 going the way it is, I couldn't believe my eyes when the stadium scoreboard flashed the Oklahoma State score, and South Alabama was just beating them like a drum. Did South Alabama win that game?
I do not know. I need to look at that. Let's look at the college football scores. All right, let's see what we got there.
The third quarter was something like 23-7, and it was at Oklahoma State against South Alabama. And
here's some scores. Here's some scores today. All right. So Louisiana 34-3 over UAB. I'm getting stuff. Jackson State and Texas State. Texas State beat Jackson State 70-27. Colorado State and Colorado are all tied up at 14 right now. Fresno State, Arizona State. It's 16-0 Fresno State over Arizona State right now. Kansas 10, Nevada 3 at halftime, I believe. UTEP nothing, Arizona nothing. That game's just kicking off. Let me go down there. Florida State 31, Boston College 29. That was a surprising score to me. I thought Boston College would be blown away, but they played hard. They played hard today. Boston College played really tough, and I actually for a while I thought they was going to win the game. Wisconsin 35, Georgia Southern 14. Ohio 10, Iowa State 7. Iowa State lost to Ohio 10-7. Kansas State 27, Missouri 30. So Kansas State goes down as well. Liberty 55, Buffalo 27. Baylor 30, LIU 7. LSU 41, Mississippi State 14. Louisville 21, Indiana 14. North Dakota 18, Boise State 42. Penn State 30, Illinois 13. Wake Forest 27, Old Dominion 24. And that game was really close too. I really thought Old Dominion was going to pull that out for a while. I mean, my goodness, Old Dominion at one point was up. Was it 24-0 at one point? I think, they were up pretty high. Old Dominion was, and ended up losing to Wake Forest 27-24. Indiana State 7, Ball State 45. Norfolk State 9, Temple 41. UMass 17, Eastern Michigan 19. NC State 45, BMI 7. Utah 31, Weber State 7. Notre Dame 41, Central Michigan 17. And Alabama 17-3 over South Florida. And it wasn't that far off. It was 10-3 with like a minute to go in that game. Alabama scored in mop-up garbage duty to make it 17-3. East Carolina 28, App State 43, FIU 24, UConn 17, Minnesota 13, North Carolina 31, Northwestern 14, Duke 38, Oklahoma 66, Tulsa 17, South Carolina 14, Georgia 24, Oregon State 26, San Diego State 9, Rutgers 35, Virginia Tech 16. Western Michigan 10, Iowa 41, Idaho 17, California 31, Louisiana Monroe 3, Texas A&M 47. I think that's all the scores today, isn't it? Oh, no, we got more. There's more. Tulane 21, Southern Miss 3, Western Kentucky 10, Ohio State 63, North Carolina Central 7, UCLA 59, Northern Colorado 21, Washington State 64, Washington 41, Michigan State 7. And I was watching something this morning. They were talking about Michigan State, and they were saying Yeah, Michigan State's going to upset Washington. This is, and I'm sure they're going. Michigan State's in turmoil. I mean, they're in some trouble right now. So Washington's going to blow them away, and they did. Georgia State 41, Charlotte 25, Villanova 14, UCF 48, Coastal Carolina 66-7 over Duquesne, and James Madison 16, Troy 14. Now back to the Michigan State game, Michigan State Washington game. I know Frank, you're a old professor there at Michigan. Well, I don't really know what your role was at Michigan State. What did you served on the board, didn't you, at Michigan State?
I was a professor and also an administrator, and my last position was vice dean of the College of Ag.
So, what's your outtake on the situation in Michigan State right now?
Well, it's sad to put it lightly. It's another crisis in athletics, and you know, it's been going on for almost 10 years now because the Nassar goes to 2014. But,
Hey, do me a favor, Frank. Do me a little favor, Frank. Would you mind dropping out, come back in, because we're getting a lot of cracking, and I think it's just StreamYard. Just go out and come back in, and it might be better.
Okay, we'll do that.
All right. All right, hoping to get Frank back in here in just a second. Nick, I had to mute you for a second. There we go. Let me unmute you. All right, Nick, we're back, man. Listen, so sky's the limit. Let me put that up there. Joey Foster just wanted to say I feel like Golden Blue Dude got his revenge tonight. I know he's proud fellow up there. Keep your good shows. Yes, that's right. You know, I was texting somebody, and it might have been Nick. I texted after the game. I said, Golden Blue Dude watching out for us, you know, and up there and stuff. You better believe it, man. Golden Blue Dude, my buddy, my friend. I mean, he's celebrating in heaven right now. Let me tell you what, he is. He's absolutely up there celebrating. He didn't drink. Golden Blue Dude didn't drink at all, but he's probably asking God if he can have a beer about now.
Look, man. I'm smiling from ear to ear because I absolutely love that man. And I promise you, he is up in heaven looking down on us. Like, let's go Mountaineers. We just knocked off the Pittsburgh Panthers, and this is something to celebrate, right?
Yep.
And let's just give it up to man. Let's just give it up to Golden Blue Dude. I mean, like, he's such a good guy, man. And we were proud to have him when we did. And now we're just memorializing him and all the things he did for West Virginia football and in this community. And this is a win for him. All right. So let's give it up to him.
Let's see if that's any better, Frank. Welcome back, buddy.
Yeah, I was able to connect to a Wi-Fi network, and this should be a lot better.
Oh yeah, it's a lot better. I don't know that it was and it could have been that you were on your cell phone signal, but yeah, it was cracking up really bad, and it's usually StreamYard that does that. Let me give a rundown real quick of the scoring plays tonight. First quarter, field goal with 7 minutes to go in the first quarter. Ben Sauls for Pitt to kick 21-yard field goal to take Pitt ahead 3-0. Second quarter with 4:45 to go. Cole Taylor, 7-yard touchdown pass from Nico Marchio. Extra point was good. West Virginia was up 7-3 at that point. Then a field goal with 9 seconds left by Ben Sauls, 36-yard field goal, made it 7-6 in favor of West Virginia. Third quarter, touchdown West Virginia with 5 minutes to go in the third quarter by C.J. Donaldson with a 1-yard touchdown run. Made West Virginia up 14-6, and then a field goal with 157 to go in the third quarter by Michael Hayes, 42-yard field goal. Hey, you know what? I was pretty happy about that field goal. 42 yards. Hey, we might have us a field goal kicker, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was all the score there was tonight, 17-6. Pitt held to 2 field goals.
They
I got
scored.
I got a tear in my eye. So hold on a second. I got a tear in my eye. Pitt was held to 2 field goals. I love it, man. I
Scored
love it.
6 points, baby. 6 points against that trash defense. They scored 6 points.
All right, let's talk about the defense for a second. So, Frank, was you happy with our secondary tonight? I mean, I was. I thought secondary coverage, that quarterback, I don't know how bad Djokovic is for Pitt, right? Their quarterback, not a really good quarterback, but at the same time, those receivers, they seem to be covered down the field, and he couldn't get a pass off. Now you were at the game. Did you see the same thing? Was that what you seen on the field? Was that we were covering them up?
Well, there's no question, and we talked about this earlier, and everybody's been talking about it, and that is the need for the secondary to step up, and they did that against Duquesne, but even though that's a good Duquesne team for the the level it plays, it's not major college football. So the question was, what would they do tonight? And they looked confident, and it was, 3 interceptions. And it's not as though the quarterback had time. Um, I've never been sold on him as a quarterback. I didn't like him at Boston College, but the fact of the matter is he probably did more damage by his running, with 3 interceptions, and he only had about 80 yards too in the air, and it's just. So I think, we've got to continue to see where we have to see consistency in that secondary. And I think next week, obviously, Texas Tech is the throwing team. That'll go a long way of telling us whether or not we have a pattern that is turning up, because Lord knows last year was a real struggle, and things didn't look much better against Penn State. But those guys did play well. They played with confidence. And the great thing about it, it was multiple players. Ruffin made that last interception. And I'll tell you, it was great to see Aubrey make that first interception with that run, because he needed a shot in his arm. And I've always been high on Beanie Bishop. At Michigan State, I watched him at Minnesota and was pleased when he left to come to Morgantown. I think he's a good player, a very solid player.
Yeah, sorry about that.
That last interception, that was actually, man, you got to watch a replay on that, Frank. That last interception there, that was a good catch. That ought to make Sports Center highlights for him to catch that ball on the interception like he did. And it was great play by our secondary all the way around tonight. I was really happy with them. Really happy with the running game. Really happy with our offensive line, the way they dominated the line of scrimmage. Not a lot to take away in the form of negatives, except for the fact that we did fumble the ball down in the red zone.
Yeah.
And that you can't do that. You can't fumble the ball down the red zone. But it was Nico Marchio. It was, new quarterback and things. I believe it was Nico that fumbled that, wasn't it? Well, it was on the exchange or whatever. But yeah, bottom line, you can't turn the ball over against anybody. And so but hey, we got 3 takeaways ourselves. I said earlier the key to the games tonight will be we need turnover, at least 1 turnover to the good, and we need to dominate the line of scrimmage and run the ball. And we did both of those. And that was the key to victory tonight.
Yeah, no question.
Yep. So Sky's the Limit says defense looked great with Penn State too, but tonight they ran Pitt over. Coach made them watch the end of the game from last year where they disrespected us after the game. Yeah, they did. Yeah, I did. And, fault Neil Brown all you want to. That was actually a good move, putting that up on the screen for the players to see, the Pitt players waving them bye-bye off the field and talking trash at the end of the game. I'm wondering if we did that tonight. I'm sure we did. Everybody does it.
I think, yeah, there was a little bit of that. But I'll tell you, given the intensity of this rivalry, you know, I, I haven't been to a Pitt, West Virginia game for a long time, and I thought it was done very well, and you I just give high marks to West Virginia. I'm so pleased, almost lost for words, because, as you said in the pregame show, the matchup predictor, ESPN matchup predictor, had Penn State, 60, 63, 64%.
Yeah.
But they came through, and it is such that stadium was on such a high.
Yeah. Well, Frank, I know that are you going to stay up there in Morgantown tonight? You driving home?
Actually, we're in Bridgeport, but we're going to be in West Virginia one more day, and then by Monday I'll be back in Michigan.
Okay. Well, listen. Now, if you guys in the chat don't know who Frank Fear is, Frank appears with us on the Wolfman's Call show on Mondays at 4:00. He has a Frank Fear Hour with Dale Wolfley, the Wolfman, every Monday at 4:00. Be sure you tune into the Wolfman's Call show. That's a great show. You don't want to miss it. But I'm going to wrap this post game up, but I want to give you guys a final thoughts on this game, and we're going to go out with Country Roads, guys. So be ready. Frank, what's your final thoughts on the game, buddy?
Well, it's we all talked about this. This is now or never for Neil Brown, and we knew that if he lost this game tonight, as you said in the pregame show, the question would be, would he make it through next week? And a lot of people thought that termination could be right around the corner. But the thing I think we weren't expecting, I would go so far in our wildest dreams. But we got a preview with Penn State, with the way in which that defense stopped their running game. We talked about that in the pregame. Now, the way they stopped Pitt tonight, with, I think, something like under 200 yards or something like that, with they couldn't get their running game going. Duquesne, I think, had something like 3 yards last week. Now we're saying, hey, the strength of this team could be the defense. When you think the linebackers, and now the secondary's kicking in with a very strong offensive line that we have. We need CJ. He can't be injured for this to continue. This team looks like it has multiple components. When we were looking at a lot of the components as being weak, now they're looking much stronger. So we're going to have to watch very closely the injury report. What's the situation with Garrett, and how serious is it with CJ? But what a win. And maybe more importantly, possibilities are accessible that we never really thought possible.
Yeah, and on your thought of CJ Donaldson and Garrett Green, even if they had to set out next week, I'm pretty confident with Nico Marchio as quarterback and Jalen Anderson as running back in place of them. It should, they did a really good job tonight. Jalen Anderson ran his heart out too. I mean, he was just as good as CJ Donaldson, really. Maybe not as powerful, as big of a back, as commanding of a back as CJ Donaldson, but still good, shifty, fast running back. So I feel confident with him. Nick, give me your final words, man.
Look, man, we won this game without even throwing the football. That is important because we showed that we can line up mano and run you out of the stadium. And that's what we did with Pitt. We beat them by 2 scores without even throwing the football. Garrett Green, our starting quarterback, got injured in the first possession, and we ran Pitt out of the game. So my score of 42, what was it? 42 to 27. My score still holds up because I guarantee you, if Garrett Green was in that game, we would score 42, right? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We beat the hell out of Pitt, and that's all that matters. And let's go. We are 2-1, and we're ready to get on with Big 12 play 2-1. Let's go, Mountaineers. That's all I got to say.
That's right. Yeah. Let's go, Mountaineers. And we are going to leave you guys tonight, but we're going to leave you on a high note because so everybody knows Pigskin Pete. Pigskin Pete, his wife, Mrs. Pete, we call her Mrs. Pete. She was at the game tonight, and she texted me this, and so let's play it for you guys. Well, once again, West Virginia wins tonight, 17-6. C.J. Donaldson, 102 yards and a touchdown on the ground. Nico Marchio comes in for Garrett Green and pulls off the victory. After only one series for Garrett Green, Nico has to come in and replace him due to injury, and we still dominated Pitt. So pretty happy about this team. Pretty excited. Get ready for next week. Texas Tech on the docket in Morgantown. Let's go, Mountaineers.